It's Thursday. Come on in. Welcome to Life Alive Bible Study, where the word comes alive and it breathes new life. I'm your host, D. Foster III, CEO and president of Wake Up Global Networks International. And it is Thursday. I'm going to give you, the spill at the top of the study, an opportunity to invite others to come in. I want you to share this contact in your link. I want you to put a link of this rather in your contacts. I want you to like, I want you to hit subscribe, I want you to hit the notification. I want you to do all of this and all of that as we are about to get into Exodus. All right, I'm gonna give you a few minutes while I sip a little water and make sure you share, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have so much content on this channel, the Voice of Hope Connection, the Voice Over Now podcast. I have a Patreon that you would want to be a part of, and you can get all of that information on our website, www.wakeupglobalnetworks.com, www.wakeupglobalnetworks.com. All right. Have you shared yet? Have you shared? Come on in. I hope you had a wonderful, happy Father's Day and all the father figures and all of those of you who have played major roles in their lives, coaches, mentors. I mean, it is a nonstop list of people, individual, the roles they have played to bring about natural, spiritual, physical, mental development in the lives of people. So whoever that is, we want to say, we hope you enjoyed your day. And most importantly, we hope that you got the honor that you received and the thanks and the gratitude that you received as you have poured into the lives of other people. I want to say continue to like, continue to share, continue to follow. I want to say we appreciate each and every one of you as we are embarking upon the 4th of July weekend, wherever your travels may take you, whether it's a vacay or a staycay. We hope and pray, that you are safe. That's what we pray, that you are safe. All right, let's get into it tonight. Are you open? Are you ready? Are you prepared to receive? Are you centered? If you're watching the replay, we want to say shout out to you. Thank you so much. Make sure you share this content. Make sure you hit the like, because it tells the algorithms that you want more of this particular kind of content. So make sure you like it, make sure you share it, make sure you put it in the copy of this link in your contacts. Make sure you put it on your calendar each and every Thursday night. This is where we be at right here on a Life Alive Bible study, where the word comes alive and it breeds new life. Don't forget, every second Sunday, live at 12 noon, we have the Awakening Experience. And of course, it is a different, what we call different concept than this. And you can get, if you miss it, you can go right to our Patreon and subscribe. Once we record, we put that content in our Patreon. So we encourage you to be with us live or join the Patreon. I think it's all kind of content there that is more than worth it. We want to say again, while you are sharing, while you are getting people in tonight, while you are watching the replay, getting people in, we want to say thank you for those of you who are giving to Wake Up Global Networks. We appreciate it. If you are being blessed, it's right to sow into good ground. So we encourage you to sow into Wake Up Global Networks as we have a clarion call to this generation, to awaken a generation, not to religion, not to doctrine, not to theology, but to awaken them to spirituality. But first of all, who they are in God and who God, here it is, most importantly, is in them. That's what we are waking up to after having fallen to sleep. But anyway, have you liked? Have you shared? Have you followed? Again, we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Now that we've done that, let's center our minds, our spirit, our bodies, so that we are open vessels to receive, not to necessarily confirm what we know. That's a waste of your time. That's a waste of my time. But to open up so that we can receive new life. Life alive is where the word comes alive and it breathes new life. So, Spirit, tonight, we expect We are open. We accept new life, new dimensions of understanding, new tiers of revelation and impartation. So we thank you in advance. In Jesus' Yeshua's name. So be it. So, uh, uh, I sense we're coming toward the end of this series. And again, I've been sensing by spirit because I want to make sure that I cover all the dynamics that involve this topic of great opportunities often precede great leaps of faith when God makes you uncomfortable. Notice the shift, deprogramming for reprogramming in, I don't know, part number 10 or whatever. But I'm feeling that we're coming towards the end. And if you have not looked at this, you can go back. And again, all content is on Wake Up Global TV, Wake Up Global TV, but you can go back and you can view all of the content. But this whole series, I say this each and every week because if I don't repeat anything, I think this is worth repeating as we move into tonight's content, into every week's content, that this message, this series is prophetic in helping us spiritually, mentally prepare for the global uh, or the global shift that has taken place currently in our planet. We've come to a place where everything on the globe is shifting. And I believe it has been since 2019 through 2020. I don't quite believe any institution was left the same after COVID. COVID was a clarion call that it is time to see the world in a whole different realm, a whole different place. Everything, a lot of new things were born, a lot of new things were birthed. Well, now we are in, and I said it prophetically, astrologically last week. So go back and look at last week. We're in a time when now there is a demolition, there is a deconstruction taking place. Almost every mountain of influence is experiencing this deconstruction, but for the purpose of reconstruction. And if you're viewing this tonight, or if you're watching the replay, it's because you've been called. You've been called to this channel for this time because you have been a part and you have been chosen to help this reconstruction, to help the rebirth, to help new beliefs, to help this generation understand who God really is and not who we were told God was through European Christianity. And that's a whole different story that I will probably get into in the next couple of weeks, especially as this country comes upon celebrating 250 years of their break off from Britain for independence. It is very important to understand the deconstruction and what has happened. That's why when I hear people say this is a Christian nation, I go back in history. This is what I'm called to do. This is what many of you called to do, is to wake people up and say, wait a minute, this country would start through a breakup. It would start through rebellion. It would start through splintering. So again, as we are prepared to wake up a generation to understand who God is, but more importantly, who God is in them, through them, and the purpose that they have come to this planet at this pivotal time when Gaia, Mother Earth, the planet is giving birth. I want you to follow me tonight. There's something brand new that we have never seen before. And so this whole series, I'm going back on the series tonight. Did you share this? Come on, get somebody in. Did you share this? I'm going back on the series. It's to prophetically, which is one of my assignments, to position us to be prepared to spiritually, to mentally, to emotionally, to psychologically, because we've been dealing with all of these aspects as we have been using the paradigm of the exodus of the Hebrews out of Egypt and into their destined place, the place where they have been chosen for destiny. Okay? All right. I know. Come on, follow me. I'm not going to be long. Follow me. Share this. I want you to hit the like, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And so we've been going through the whole process. And that's the great thing about streaming. We don't have to go back and recant. You can look at the prior streams right here on Wake Up Global TV. And I want you to share those. But to bring you up to date, today's topic, because every week I've been given a topic based on the trilogy that we are following concerning the Hebrews coming out of Egypt, because their experiences are some things we can learn to do. But to be honest with you, it's more of what we learn not to do when we follow the Hebrews. And I go back and start at their enslavement, how they got there. There's a Pharaoh who did not know them. When favor is gone, that means it's time to move, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But tonight, let's locate them tonight. Tonight, did you share this before I get into tonight's locale? Tonight, share this, please. I want you to share this. I want you to let somebody know that we are live tonight with the Life Alive Bible study. Is talking about, because we're dealing with their process, because our process will be similar. And I said last week, I believe it was, that everything is connected, that it's a divine hookup, that nothing is done when it comes to our destiny. Nothing is done in a vacuum. Hookups matter. That's what I said. That it's not a straight line. Even when you take the leap, even when you know it's spirit, it's not always a straight line. There will be, I want you to hear that. There will be, I said this week before last because I was prophetic last week. There will be twists and turns, right? There will be a process. So tonight, because we've been following their process, it's been a long process since they first came into Egypt, since they fell out of favor with Pharaoh, since they were made slaves, since all of their ancestors died, since they had to build houses without straw, since it's been a whole process. And that's why the Spirit led me to look at this, because their process is a typology of what our process will be when we decide to take the great leaps of faith. Now, just because you take a great leap of faith to seize great opportunities, which will happen, it doesn't mean that it's always a straight line. It doesn't mean that I will land, I take the leap of faith from where I am and I land into where I'm supposed to be. No. As we look at Israel, we see that there is that in-between process. That's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about being tired in the process, not tired of the process. Now, I know, and I do not speak from a European Christian philosophy. I speak from a spiritual philosophy, right? So I understand we throw the word process around a lot. We always talk about the process. And in the same breath, I understand that we live in a time when people don't like process. But as I often say, one thing I do believe is divine principle. I'm more principlematic than I am any theology and all of this other stuff we get into. Give me the divine principle and I'm flowing with it. The divine principle is it demands process. Even the leap of faith demands process. Even the leap of faith to seize the opportunity demands process. And I'll get to tonight, hopefully, why process is invaluable. It is almost mandated for success. It is almost, and we've made it process a struggle. When I say process, I'm not talking about being baked, being burned, tied down. I'm talking about there are levels to this thing that first, you understand? Come on, share this, share this, share this, share this. First the seed, the blade, then the ear, then the full corn. And that's process. And if it does not, I'll even be bold enough to say it this way. If it does not go through process, probably not spirit, and it probably won't last. Say it again. If it doesn't go through process, the levels, we can use tomato. If it doesn't go through process, it probably is not spirit, and it probably will not be sustained. Why? Because everything that spirit births, it goes, even you, through a process. There were trimesters when you were in your mother's womb. You didn't just like daddy planted the seed and you came out the next day. There was process. There was a whole, all things being equal, 9-month process. Gestation. I mean, we could go through, and I went through that, some of what a seed goes through, right? So even though we're in the point, and I'm going to read something in a minute, that God says, okay, it's time for you to go. I'm going to release you out of Egypt, out of your current condition. You take the leap of faith. You trust me. I'm not going to tell you how things are going to turn out. I'm not going to give you every detail. I appreciate we live in an information age. That's for this dimension. But when you get into the spirit, the only information you get is from the source. And that's if the source is willing to tell you or me. But it's not this whole concept that I have to know everything and how it's going to turn out. Spirit doesn't work that way. Else you would not need faith. And without faith, it is impossible to please God. You follow me? Share this, like this, come on in. I'm not talking religion. I'm prophetically helping to position us, because part of it is this. Watch this. Much of the abortion of the opportunity, much of the opportunities, many of the opportunities that we lose are lost, not in Egypt, but in the process, because we just don't like process. That's why we eat. No, that's why people eat. I ain't put me in there. People eat a lot of processed foods. Why? Because it doesn't have to go through the process. Processed food is simply, I put preservatives on it, cutting through the chase, to make it last longer. I pre-cook it, so when you get it, it's already cooked. No hate, no shade, no nothing, just fact. It's already cooked. So all you got to do is throw it in the micro process. That's quicker than cooking it from scratch, seasoning it, letting it have time in the, we don't like process because we live in, which is great, right? It's great. We live in an age where everything is instantly. It's at my fingertip. And in many ways, I love it. You don't have to go to the bank no more. You can take a picture of your check. I love it. You can transfer funds through one button, Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, whatever. I love it. But then and so what we do, we get addicted to that. No process. We get addicted to having it right at our fingertips. But when it comes to the things of spirit, and I say this often, it does not work like that. It don't work like that. First the blade, Mark chapter 4 says, then the ear, then the full corn in the ear. Always say this. Don't ever tell me your success without telling me your story. I'm not interested, because if it's real success, I know there's a story behind it. So don't ever preach to me how successful you are and how much you have. I want to know the days, what did you do when you didn't have? I want to know the days when you struggled. I want to know the days when you almost gave up. That right there, that solidifies our success, because that says I've been through process. Now, that's key. Follow me. I'm just kind of on another wavelength tonight. That's key for development. And that's where I want to land in just a few minutes. That's key for development. Exodus 13. We're in this process with them. We're following their journey. Share this, like this, give to this ministry. Plant seed. That's part of the process. That's part of the process of increase. Sowing, right? Exodus chapter number 13, verse 17. When Pharaoh let them go, watch this. When Pharaoh let them go, God did not, watch this, lead them on the road through the Philistine country, Filipino. Though that was shorter, I want to stop right there. Let me read this again. Let me read this again. When Pharaoh let the people go, verse 17, Exodus 13, God did not lead them on the road through the Philistine country, though it was shorter. That, see, make that make sense. God says, I'm going to take you, and I know we don't understand this because I'm talking process, and there's a reason for this. There's a reason. He says, I'm going to take you the long way. What? Ways said, the shorter way is 15 minutes. God says, I'm going to take you, not the 15-minute way. I'm going to take you the 40 days way. Yeah, you could probably get there in 4 days, but I have a reason, and it has to do with process. So tonight I'm talking about don't get tired of the process. You can only get tired in the process. Sometimes the process will tire you out, but don't get tired of enduring the process. Come on, flow with me tonight. Share this. Don't get tired. But some of you are in process. Some of you you've made that leap. Some of you have made that leap and you want to know, when am I going to land with that opportunity? You're in process. Don't despise the days of new beginnings. Everybody has a seed day, not the full corn day. Everybody has a seed day. It's a God day. Not a God day? Watch. Come here, go. See, there's a difference between being big and being swollen. You can swell up without seed, but you can't get big without seed. Big is natural. Swelling is infectious. So I'm never impressed with anything big because now I have to decide, is it swollen? Did it come up through process, or did it blow up? That's a swelling. You look at somebody's ankles and it's swollen, that means there's some there's an issue here somewhere, right? There's an issue here. You went to bed one way and you woke up another way. That's not natural. That's not healthy. Share this. Let me get me another drink of water. Share this. He says, I'm not going to lead you through the way of the Philistines, though it is short. Wow. I want to hurry up and get there. I made the leap. Now I want the opportunity. You will get the opportunity when you embrace the process. When I embrace the process. And sometimes embracing the process looks like you're going backward. Huh? What do you think? Sometimes embrace, ain't this good? Come on, share this. Looks like you're going backward. But when the archer has the bow, I know, see, I'm talking to mature people now, not people who want it. You pull the bow back so that when you release it forward with momentum. It's hard to release it with momentum when the bow is here. That's why the archer. So let me speak to you prophetically. You feel like you've been pulled back. Maybe you're just enjoying the process. But you can't watch this. You can't get intimidated about what people think about your process and try to rush it to prove that you're making progress. I just went into your business right there. See, a lot of people, they're in the process. and they're on their way to go forward. And God is about to shoot them forward with momentum. But when people look, they say, oh, look at them. They ain't doing that good. Look at them. What's happened to them? Say, I told you, I prophesied, I told you. And then you try to save face, try to rush the process. You try to prove that what they saying ain't right. And now you abort or you jeopardize aborting the opportunity because you would not fully embrace of intimidation or out of hearing what ninjas think about what's going on in your life. Because you can't have people thinking that you ain't doing well and not doing well and perceived not to be doing well are two, y'all glad you tuned in tonight? Two different things. Don't go by what you look like. Because don't judge people what it look like. Because they could be in process. The archer has pulled back the bow and they're about to fly forward with forward momentum. But you would know that. Don't judge with yourself. Because many people are in process. If you are in process, it's only because you've been willing to take the leap. People who stay where they are, they don't need process. They are processed. They're already processed. But when you have gotten out of the boat, when you have said yes, when you have dared to move, there will be process. And tonight, the prophetic word is you can get tired in the process, but don't get tired of the process. So what's this? Verse 17. Well, God said, if they face war, and I'll talk about that, they might change their mind and return to Egypt. All right. I'm trying to see where the Spirit want me to go with that, because I can go, if they face war, see, that's why it's some circles you want to be in, bad. But Spirit says, I can't let you in those circles because being in part of those circles involve heavy warfare. Because the higher up you go, the more you contend with, right? And I got to make sure, Darnell, that you are ready to deal and contend with all that comes in those circles. So for right now, I'm going to circumvent that. Though you want it bad, though you want to know them bad, though you want to be involved in that bad, I don't know. So I'm going to pull a stop on that for now. What God was saying. I ain't going to let you run into them because I'm not sure you have, here's the word, spiritually developed enough to resist everything that comes with being connected or running across their path or being involved in that. And I can't take a chance of you going back. So right now, I'm going to redirect you. I said a whole lot, I know. And I'm not going to repeat it. I got to move forward because I'm almost time to close. I'm going to redirect you. He says, so God led the people around the desert towards the Red Sea. You can get there quicker, but you're in process because I got to work on some things while I'm redirecting you. I'm working on some things. The Israelites went up out of Egypt ready for battle. Learning to develop faith in the process is key to releasing the greatest opportunities. This is why I'm going to close tonight. Learning to develop faith in the process. One thing to go through the process, but there's another thing to have faith in the process that say, this is working for my good. if indeed it is. This is working for my betterment. Share this. Come on, get this out. If indeed it is, this is going to get me where I'm supposed to be. If indeed it is. And if I took the leap of faith and if I'm submitted to the process, I got to have faith. I can't fight the process and end up where I'm supposed to be. Learning to embrace. And guess what? Nobody told me that always the road would be easy. And nobody say the process is always going to be easy, but ain't nobody say the process is always going to be difficult. I like to say it is what it is, and it's going to be what it's going to be. Got that? Sometimes the process is enjoyable, sometimes it ain't. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it ain't. It is what it is, and it's going to be what it's going to be. But I'm going to be right in it. What about you? What about you? What about what about you? You ought to say, take me through there, take me. Just that's all you got to do. That's prophetic. So where are we going, Quinn? I don't know, but and you notice the never answer. Take me through there. Take me through there. I should have named it that. Because that's process. Take me through there. Not to stay, take me through. They were going through. They weren't stopping at the Red Sea. He said, I'm gonna redirect you. But you gotta trust the process. And learning to develop faith in the process is key to releasing the greatest opportunity. After you take that leap, now the greatest thing you can do is develop faith in the process. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how it's going to end up. God is redirecting me. I know there's a shorter way. I know I can do it easier. I know how to get this done. Excuse me. I'm going to submit to the process. When Pharaoh let them go, notice I did not lead them on the road through the Philistines, even though it was shorter. So you got to ask yourself, what did God have in mind? There was a reason behind this. And God gave the reason. Because if you see them, if you mix with them, I'm not sure your development. I don't want to give away next week's because if I start, I'm going to have to get into it and I got to stop. I'm not sure where you are right now based on your development that you will be able to resist all that they got going. I'm breaking it down. All they got going on with them and not return back to Egypt. Because I'm invested in your destiny more than your comfort. Remember that? Comfort versus destiny. I'm going to send you a longer way. I know it ain't convenient, but I'm invested in your destiny, not your comfort. Because your development tells me that it is, the system love this word, you're going to backslide. If you cross the paths of the Philistine. And God is always more heavily in our debt. You know what that means? I'm done for the night. Share this before we go. Share this. I'm going to tell you this as we close tonight. And there will be, for every level, there's a new process. And only those who embrace the process, we'll talk more about what that looks like next week, will be able or in the position or the strength to seize those great opportunities. Thank you, Spirit, for emptying me on the viewers. Thank you for filling me only to empty me, to empower those that are watching live and those that will watch the replay. So we give you the permission to take us through that as we fully embrace the process, which will prepare us for great opportunity. Thank you. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being a part. Don't forget to share this every Thursday night. We consider that we're good ground. I ask you, and if you haven't, no amount is too big. Certainly none is too small. Whatever you're led to do, feel free to plant a seed into Wake Up Global Networks. It's either Zelle, it's PayPal, etc., etc. Wake Up Global Networks. If you want to do Zelle, the address is wakeupp03@gmail.com. All that information, though, is on the website. You can scan our QR code for our PayPal. However you give, just plant seed into this minute. Until next week, I want to remind you, don't fight the process. You can get tired in it. We do get tired in it, but never get tired of it, because that strengthens us. Be encouraged. Till next week, share this. Peace.